Here are three different price targets that I have for SaucerSwap's native token in 2025. And even though nothing I say is financial advice, if people are wondering, okay, when in 2025, give or take, I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. However, even besides that, my first price target for Sauce is going to be $1. Now, you may be thinking, okay, why? The reason being is because I think SaucerSwap has the potential to be a very amazing decentralized exchange. Let me explain why. Because allegedly, SaucerSwap is the first ever decentralized exchange to launch on Hedera. Now, people may be thinking, okay, what's so special about Hedera and how is SaucerSwap really any different than a lot of decentralized exchanges out there? Now, at face value, if you take a look at a decentralized exchange, much like SaucerSwap, it's not too revolutionary when compared to something like a Uniswap or like a PancakeSwap, for instance, right? But then the amazing thing about it is that, again, it allegedly is the first ever to launch on Hedera, meaning that this is a very special place to be, and this holds a lot of value in my opinion. Keep in mind, when it comes to Hedera Hashgraph, it actually doesn't use traditional blockchain technology. Instead, it uses something called a DAG, which stands for a directed acyclic graph. But again, the acronym is DAG, aka DAG. Now, people may be thinking, okay, when it comes to this, what makes it so special? It's because when compared to traditional blockchain technology, a DAG, it's usually a lot faster, it's typically a lot more scalable, and also on top of that, it has improved data storage. Not to mention, it consumes way less energy as well. Like for instance, on average, per transaction, Hedera uses less energy than Solana, Ethereum, BNB Chain. I mean, the list is very impressive, by the way, but I'm just listing a few. However, even besides that, if we take a look at Hedera deeper, the special thing about it as well is the fact that its governing council is really a plus. Keep in mind, Hedera's governing council even includes the likes of Google, and yeah, you heard that right, I'm talking about Google here. And of course, we all know that we're using YouTube currently, but even besides that, we also take a look at another governing council member that they have, right? It is something called Mondelez. Now, Mondelez, people may be thinking, okay, what is that? Now, their brands include something like Oreo. I mean, we all know that. I love Oreo myself, but even besides that, another, brand that they have is something called Cliff, aka, the Cliff Bar, right? So when I take a look at this, it's very impressive. Not to mention also Dell Technologies is a part of Hedera's governing council. Now, there's a bunch of others, but when it comes to Hedera, really, it's a very solid project. Governing council is A plus, and it's very revolutionary. Now, keep in mind, if we take a look at something like Hedera as well, we'll see that, for instance, right, its native services can reliably scale up to 10,000 transactions per second and even beyond. So again, it's very scalable. A lot of its, counterparts in the blockchain space, I would say, they're nowhere near this impressive. And when it comes to Hedera, it really showcases that, hey, there's other things beyond traditional blockchain technology. There could be, things beyond the horizon, so to speak. Now, granted, it's very revolutionary, so it's not like something that is really going to have this mass scale adoption in the very near future, in my opinion. But again, people usually care about the narrative. They care about what something could be in the future. And if we take a look at something like Hedera, it has the potential to, because when something is this special, I highly doubt that it's going to disappear off into the abyss. Yes, again, we have blockchains, but this just pretty much sits on a league of its own. So that is the value that I think something like SaucerSwap holds. Again, quite essentially being on Hedera, that really showcases that it's like, for instance, right? We see meme coins popping up on like, Avalanche or Solana or Ethereum. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just meme coins, but then the place where they are, it holds value, at least to some people. And in this case, it does hold value. Now, not to mention, a decentralized exchange by nature, I think, does fall under the category of the decentralized finance market, aka the DeFi market. And this right here does have a lot of potential, in my opinion. Take a look at, for instance, the DeFi market, according to Grandview Research, is predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030. So just let that sink in. I'm not saying that SaucerSwap is going to become the biggest decentralized exchange of all time, but it doesn't need to. Again, when a market could be that massive, yeah, sure, there's other competitors like a Pangolin, like for instance, PancakeSwap, Uniswap, of course, we all know that. We take a look at Aerodrome, we take a look at Velodrome. Again, this is very special because, Hedera, I think, is a very good place to be. And again, when a market could be that massive, I think there's going to be space for something like this. And $1 for Sauce, SaucerSwap's native token, I don't see why not in 2025, hypothetically speaking. Now, my second price target for Sauce is going to be $1.50. Now, some people would be thinking, okay, why this price and this is impossible? Well, I disagree with that because if it were to go to that price. Considering current circulating supply, market cap would slightly be over $1 billion. This is really peanuts in the grand scheme of things. Take a look at, for instance, Uniswap's native token called Uni. People often regard, Uniswap as being a very impressive decentralized exchange, which it is. It has a lot of fans. But take a look at what Uni reached back in 2021. During that bull run, it reached around $22 billion market cap, actually more than that, right? Depending on the site or exchange, but you get my point, it's around that range. However, even if we take a look at that, we'll see that, again, that's around 22 times more than what, Sauce would have if it were to go to the price of $1.50, considering current circulating supply in terms of market cap. Again, I'm not saying SaucerSwap is ever going to defeat like a Uniswap. It's never going to do that. But then maybe just achieving a glimpse of what it did years ago. Keep in mind, back in 2021, I just don't see why not. Currently, the factors are a lot better. More crypto owners. You take a look at how more people are knowledgeable when it comes to the DeFi space. People love decentralized exchanges, not to mention, Hedera is on the rise. I think as Hedera does go along, I think it's only fair to assume that SaucerSwap does join that ride. Take a look at, for instance, when Solana popped off, what went along with the ride? Something called Jupiter, which people consider a very good decentralized finance project on Solana, right? Jupiter went along with the ride when it comes to Solana. I think this will too, hypothetically, when it comes to Hedera, going up. And I think it will because I'm very bullish on that. But even besides that, Sauce at the price of $1.50, I don't see why not. Now, my third and final price target is going to be Sauce at the price of $2, which some people may think it's a little bit too much. But again, really considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $1.5 billion. Kind of peanuts, really, in the grand scheme of things, like I mentioned in the previous section of the video. But even besides that, what are major factors in which I could very well see this becoming a realistic scenario? And that is the fact that there's currently over 600 million crypto owners. That's more than ever before in history. Back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly around 300 million crypto owners. Now, again, we have pretty much double according to Crypto.com research. Not to mention the DeFi market is on the rise, Hedera is on the rise, and I just don't see why this would be something too difficult to achieve. Now, some people may be wondering, okay, how soon? Usually, altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April of last year. So 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year, which is why I call this video 2025 price targets. Now, this is more so of like a benchmark, right? It's like a gauge based off of history. There's no guarantee when it comes to this. It could always happen earlier, which would be awesome. However, if it happens a little bit later, which could also be a realistic possibility, it's fine because I'll accumulate more anyways. But again, I'm more so having my sights on near the end of 2025. However, again, only time will tell. But I'm very bullish on this year. Even though there's a lot of volatile price movements in the short term, I think better days are ahead. Now, what is my strategy though throughout all this? That's going to be dollar cost averaging. So anytime I earn income, I'm going to be acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. I'm not going to be day trading. I'm not going to be using leverage or swing trading when it comes to any cryptocurrency that I own. That's not what I do. I just like to keep things simple. And again, Sauce at the price of $2 during this bull run, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm very bullish on 2025. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.